Money on my mind, gotta hustle and grind. Financial literacy always on my mind. I'm stacking knowledge, no time to waste. Gotta invest smart, gotta keep up the pace. I'm reading books, learning all the tricks, studying the market, making calculated picks. I'm saving up my dough, watching it grow. No more wasting money on things I don't really know. Financial smarts, that's my new swag. Investing wisely, no more burning cash. I'm building wealth, $1 at a time. Going from broke to living the life that's prime.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Reckless Raidenero, and I want to welcome you to Future Financial Strategies. I wanted to do a formal welcome to the channel now that we have this branched out and it's its own thing, because we don't want this information getting algorithmically buried, because I've got a lot of stuff on my main channel. If this is your first time stopping through, please take the time to take a look over the content. There's going to be a bunch of content being shifted over from my primary channel at Reckless Raidenero over to this channel that is specific to this channel. I started, what the origin of this is, I started a video playlist over there called Future Financial Strategies, where I go through some of the stuff that I do personally with my finances. Obviously, this isn't, disclaimer, this is not financial advice. This is a guy using his finances and reporting back the results of my financial experiments with my finances as I am on the road to becoming a millionaire. And I started that video playlist, and it's starting to get a little bit of traction over there, but I have a few other, like, it's a hodgepodge of stuff. Like, I do open panels, live streams sometimes, talk on crypto, which is one of the future financial strategies. And I figured I would just branch this out, because those videos would probably get a little bit more traction if they were in their own channel that was consistently talking about those things instead of everything else, because my channel encompasses so much stuff that I do get shadow banned a lot. So I'm making a channel that's going to be specific to the finance, and I would like to welcome you over here to Future Financial Strategies. Now let's give a little conversation about my background. Who am I? Just a guy. I'm a guy on the internet. Obviously, Reckless Raidenero, the internet persona. Working stiff, part blue collar, part IT. I am not making over six figures. Apparently, I'm not supposed to be able to own a house, which I do. I'm not supposed to be able to own a car, which I do. I'm not supposed to be able to get to spaces of debt free, because I'm supposed to be living paycheck to paycheck, which I do have the ability to achieve, but I do utilize debt. So I do normally carry some debt. We're actually going to be looking at how I am targeting that debt, because some of the future financial strategies that I've gone over and are now implementing are going to put me in a space to where I can self-fund a lot more and pay myself versus paying the bank, which definitely great idea if you're just trying to continue to make your money, make more money. So we will be a couple of things that we'll have over here. We've got our future financial strategies. We've got portfolio updates. I will dial in deeply on all of the strategies that I'm using. I'm going to be doing a getting started series where I retell my journey of getting started in some of these strategies and how I get started and the way that I look at it, and how I would get started if I, hindsight 2020, know what I would be doing now. So those will be some of the first videos that are going to be coming out on this channel. If you're watching this later after the channel has started releasing some of this content, it is going to be consistent. I do an update every week. We normally drop those on Thursdays. Now that this is its own channel, as topics come up, as things I find that are interesting that are related to this topic line, I will be uploading probably a little bit more. So you might get a couple of videos a week. You might get 3 videos a week. You might get 4 videos a week. We'll see. For the live streams. I will be dropping the link for those live streams because once we bring back Guns and Butter, there is a financial component to that live stream specifically. We talk about a lot of other stuff over there, but for the ones that I'm going to have a financial focus, and most of those do have a financial focus, we will be dropping the links. Those will be going on my main channel at Reckless Rate and Arrow. And yeah, some of the other stuff that we do over here, we have a portfolio update where I'm tracking my traditional finance portfolio. One of the strategies that we're using is high yield dividend investing, and we're tracking the progress with that. So we'll be talking about that a lot. Just strategies in general. We're talking about in-home banking. We're talking about we're doing in-home banking, velocity banking. Let's see here. We talk about a little bit of cryptocurrency because some of the standards and practices that I have set up that are building for the future are among those strategies. We're talking about whether or not we're utilizing 401ks or Roth 401ks, because depending on the intent, might not be effective. We dive into the efficacy versus what the gurus just tell you. We also have Cash App hacks that I use. We do the Cash App cash advance. It's low interest money. It's basically free. It's not basically, it is free money for me. And we have a strategic use for that because it allows us to front run some stuff. And we're also using it currently to attack debt. We're talking about different debt elimination strategies. Again, I do not make over 6 figures. I am not close to 6 figures. So this isn't somebody talking to you from the mountaintop. This is a guy who's navigating through these financial waters that's grown up since I was 16, looking at the Robert Kiyosaki's, looking at all the gurus, looking at these people who put out all these massive books that are changing the paradigm, and finding a lot of half-truths. But like, not only that, it's like when you actually apply some of this stuff, it just blatantly doesn't work, or it does work super effectively, but there's some caveats to it. And it's actually getting to look at it from a person who's not rich yet, and trying to establish themselves and like build to that level of wealth. So this is a documentation of like what's going on actively on the streets. Like, I understand a lot of these people pontificate after they're already rich, after they already have a YouTube channel where they're making more money than what they're making at their job, but then they still go to the job, which is cool. Stack that money, get that money. But they're telling people stuff and they're like, oh yeah, this is just super easy to do. Just go do it. It's like, or this doesn't work. You can't ever have debt for anything. That's no good. It's always bad. I'm like, okay, like, for those of us who are actually like working our way out of the mud, some of that advice kind of falls flat. Some of it actually doesn't make sense. Some of it doesn't actually work. And so what we're going to do over here on Future Financial Strategies specifically is we're going to hash that out. We're going to have those conversations, and I will invite those people to come and have the conversation on the live stream, because most of my stuff breaks down to math. It's not opinion for me. Like, I'm a math driven person. I'm like, did this work? Is there more money? Am I paying these things off in a faster clip while still being able to build wealth? Because one of the things I don't believe in is stopping everything that you're doing, liquidating all of your assets to pay off debt that can be paid off later and just managed. Like, I don't believe in that because of opportunity costs. Because now when you buy into an investment, you're buying at a higher clip. You're not going to get what you could have got, and like, you're missing out on all that growth. So I do both. Like, I do carry debt. A lot of it is asset-backed debt because I use a good portion of debt to purchase assets. I have some revolving debt. I do use that because I like to have all my money in the market. I am not at a point to where I'm generating the income that I want to be generating to just start paying for everything cash and just being like, yeah, this doesn't matter because there's just so much more money coming in. I'm in an establishment phase. And I feel like most of us, when we are in establishment phases, for me, my focus is 100% accumulating as much income and assets as possible. So doing that, I need all of my money actively making money, and then I can pay the debt back. So I carry debt. We're gonna do a deal, because like I've also gone through one of those worst case scenarios where you have 3 bad months. I went through a major surgery. I don't normally get sick, and I'm normally never at the doctor. So I was on the high deductible plan for insurance, because you've got to have insurance. And so I got to full bore pay for a massive surgery. I got my Achilles reattached to itself. And then, so like at that point, I'm out of work for a month and a half, basically. Like I'm on the couch. Fortunately, like I had enough PTO and the position that I've worked myself up to within the company. I am also a partner in the company. So at that point, they got to pay you to leave. I kind of skirted through that, got back to work on light duty, not full hours for a little bit. So basically it was 2.5 months of not full working, not month and a half not working, another month of not working full schedule. And then getting back into the swing of things, light duty, then having to go through physical therapy, which I'm currently still going through. And while that was happening, my head gasket blew on my car. So that's an additional, on top of the medical expenses, an additional $5,000 expense on top of that. Most people would be knocked out and in poverty, according to what we're told by certain media sources that want us to believe that we're all poor and incapable of navigating any type of financial situation because we're all irresponsible and dumb with money. Me personally, I'm not irresponsible and dumb with money. So we picked up some debt on that was existential debt, that wasn't debt that would have normally been within the lexicon of like what I'm managing. But what that's going to give us the opportunity to do is actually deep dive into how I personally use these strategies to attack debt. So terrible set of circumstances. I came through the other side of it. I've got a trajectory. I know exactly how much longer I have before I am work optional / able to retire, which will be most likely at the trajectory that I'm currently on, provided nothing else destroys itself on my body or I get run over by a bus. We're looking at 36 months before I am at fully work optional / able to retire / able to buy my time back. After which I will probably grind it out for another 12 to 24 months to secure that income and continue to grow it up to where it completely eclipses my income. I'm not planning on not going to work ever, but I am planning on taking a little breather. I am planning on focusing on that elusive work-life balance once I get to that point to where I am generating all of my income and then some. And then I'm going to focus on, maybe I don't need to grind out 50, 60 hour weeks, 70 hour weeks. Like maybe I don't need to do that. Maybe I don't need to constantly be working just because, like, maybe I can go do some stuff that I kind of thought that I wanted to do. But the premise here is I'm planning on being able to do those things well before whatever retirement age is. Like, I'm not trying to like break my back, bust my body and exist for forever. And in that work environment, just perpetually feeding into the machine when I could not do that. I could actually enjoy. I could go places and enjoy it while like I still have some semblance of like really good health and like able to just really enjoy stuff like and do things on a level that I am currently used to doing and not going, man, I wish I could have done this when I was 40. So I'm 40 now, for the record. Or I wish I could have went and done that in my 30s, even for some of you that are going to be watching this coming behind me, because hopefully implementing some of these strategies for you will enable you to do these things faster, to do these things more efficient, to put yourself in a position where you can focus on doing a job that you want to do and maybe be able to take a job that you like actually care about, that you enjoy. Like Warren Buffett says, tap dancing to work every day, but that job pays less, or there's a potential for it to pay less, or go take that risk to go get into that other career field and not have to worry about losing your home, losing the roof over your head, not making money. Like this, the strategies that we're implementing over here, I'm really focused on strategically making moves so that you can do what you want to do, because I'm not a person who's going to be sitting on a beach having Mai Tais. Like, I'm a workhorse. Like, I enjoy working. I don't enjoy having to work. I don't enjoy being in situations where people are using the fact that I have to work as leverage. I don't like being looked at as a tool. So also, like, some of the stuff that I've never had a job that I've wanted. You know, like, I've always had jobs. Like, I have a dope career now, but it wasn't like something that where I was like, yo, when I grow up, I want to do that. Now that what I do right now is very cool. Like, it's a super cool job. And, you know, if money wasn't an option, there are certain facets of it that, like, you know what, maybe I could take off and like actually go like deep dive in and like focus on some of the educational pieces and pick up some more certifications, or have more time to focus on building the skill set within the field. But like, there's some, I don't know what I would want to do, because I haven't had the opportunity to try things, because I've been financially more or less on my own since I was 16 years old. So I've gone through different phases. I've gone through a scarcity phase. I've gone through the I want to flex at the club phase. I'm going to blow every dime I have. And within those realms, like, I've had jobs, but it's always just like, yo, I just got to make sure that my income is secure. Like, I got to make sure that I'm going to work. I got at least a job or two, or a job and a side hustle. And it's always been about keeping that sense of stability, because from a very young age, I've had to be my own stability. So any mess ups that I have are on me and result in me maybe having to sleep outside, and I don't want to sleep outside. So as I'm going through, like, even looking back over my life, I'm like, I've done some cool stuff. I've had some really cool jobs, but it wasn't like I got to sit back in a space of like, I can look at the whole field and go, I want to do this, or I want to try this out. I want to see if I'm good at this. And then if I'm not good at it, it's okay, because like, my income's going to be the same regardless. Like, this is extra money. And that's the way that I really, that's the space that I really want to be in. And I guess as much as I have pushback for Kiyosaki, because I think he has some really ignorant hot takes because he's old. And not only that, he's old and wants to just stay relevant, which is fine. But like, I get it. These dudes get old. They want to be a guru for forever. I don't want to be a guru. I'm just documenting what I'm doing. But one of the things that did ingrain itself in me since I read it at such a young age was his book, The Cash Flow Quadrant. And in all of those quadrants, everybody was always working towards the I quadrant, the investor quadrant, the passive income quadrant. Now, I've learned in life that there's no such thing as truly passive income. Like, the lazier you are, the less money you make. It's just what it is. So like, for those people who are like, I just don't manage anything, I don't pay attention to anything, I just collect checks, they're either lying or they're not getting as much money as they could, because you pay for that privilege. So that costs money. So me personally, I actively manage all my accounts, but we live in a space now to where you can actually go from your job straight to the I quadrant, straight there. And, you know, when I was reading that book at 16 and I was trying to start getting into investments, I remember when you used to have to mail checks off to the mutual fund, and then you would have to ask them to mail you a check back, and the money flowed really slow. You were waiting weeks at a time to get money into your account, get money out of your account. You'd have to go on the internet to go look, see what your balance was, waiting for those checks to hit for them to invest your funds, hoping they did a good job. The tools that we have now, the options that we have now, the financial space that we're in now didn't exist then. And so like, I could understand how somebody could be like, yo, like, you've got to go set up a business. You've got to go do this and this and this. You got to go get the bag yourself. Everybody needs to be an entrepreneur, which honestly, kind of for a long time there, just meant that you lived at your mom's house and you were trying to look like you were doing something. But I understood then, but like, now you can circumvent that whole process. Like, if you don't like dealing with people, you can just get in the stock market. And there's plenty of places where you can, on different levels of active in the stock market. Now, one of the strategies that we're going to go over here that I specifically use is I'm using those high yield income ETFs, and I manage that account as though it's my business. It's not an official business. I have an official business with W-2 employees. Like, we go do business work, brick and mortar, real world, not online. I'm in the home automation field. So we automate $1 million and up homes, varying levels of project. And I remember when I started off in this field, we were doing 40, 20, $15,000 jobs. And now we're doing $200,000 jobs. We're doing $175,000 small jobs. Like, that's the reason I love the field. I get to do cool stuff. I'm not in the same place every day. I'm not relegated to a cubicle. While I don't have the flexibility of work from home, I also don't have the body type of most of you who work from home. Shout out to the gurus that want to tell everybody to be remote and talk about how they don't have to leave the house all day, and they just look dysgenic. I mean, I don't know. Like, you don't look like you do anything. So, I've circumvented a lot of the things that I don't care for. Now, the remote work, cool. But you know what other remote work I can do? Managing my portfolio and not having to deal with anyone. Yeah, I mean, it's a better fit for me. So I like to do stuff. I like to be physically engaged for part of the day. I like it that I get to pop out a computer for part of my day. Like, the job space that I'm in, I do enjoy this job, even though it wasn't something that I specifically sought out. It just kind of fell into my lap, or I fell into its lap. I don't know, like, what one of the two, but it's something that I enjoy. But I feel like I can take that to another level and actually drill down and potentially focus and figure out some things that I'm really passionate about, and like give myself a life that I believe I deserve, because I'm working hard for it. It's not that I deserve it and somebody should give it to me. It's I deserve it. I've gone out here, I've hunted for it. And now that we're getting more efficient and more thoughtful and more intentional, it's something that I'm gonna have, because I'm gonna build it. I'm gonna make it myself, and then I'm gonna make that for my family. I'm going to change the trajectory of my family. And like, I've got some stuff that we're doing for other people within my family that are not directly related to me. A lot of people aren't doing that. Like, a lot of people are talking about generational wealth and changing the paradigm and all of those things. And I don't see any documentation of that act happening, aside from saying that I'm the blueprint, because like, I've got a good life, do what I did. And it's, like, I guess that can work for some people. Like, if you got the results, and I tell people all the time, if you got the game and they don't want it, like, that's on them. But I'm actually trying to do kind of what the Fords did, where you set a legacy based on expectation with reward. That's what I'm trying to do. And we'll see if it works. Like, I mean, I'm going to be documenting it. I got plenty of time to make these videos, at least I believe so, unless I get run over, aren't here anymore. But this is going to be the documentation of the financial piece of this. And that way, hopefully, it can get out there in the algorithm. We can get some shares on it. So like, I recommend sharing the content, because this is a channel where it's safe to share the content. They're not going to show up and see Ray being angry about anything but money, or Ray having opinions about anything but money. Like, this is going to be bag focused. This is very agnostic, because I want everybody to be able to compete. I want all of you to be able to be rich. I want to be able to compete with you and then be richer than you and beat you at the game. I'm not going to hide what's going on over here, because I am very competitive. And that's one of those things that I like. And, net worth, passive income, those are good, fun metrics of being able to go, hey, like, look at this, look at what I'm doing here. And it's motivating. Like, it doesn't make me mad when I see other people winning. It makes me motivated. I don't cry, I compete. And I'm going to say that a lot on this channel. Do not cry, compete. Get out there. Don't hate on the person who's doing well. Go, yo, I got to figure out if I can incorporate some of what they're doing right into my strategy, so that I can do X, Y, and Z, which is the reason I test so many strategies on this channel, because I want everyone to get the full gamut. Now, for the stuff that I have reference point for, where it's like, yo, I got the game from somewhere else, shout out to the Stidhams. I'm gonna reference those people. So if you want to go to the source and deep dive into how they're doing it, where I learned it from, because I'll take information, I process it into my system, put my secret sauce on it, and I talk about how it works for me. And that's one of the things that is going to be different from over here, because none of this is going to be dogmatic and religious, because I don't have anything to sell. Eventually, I will be setting up a Patreon that will link all of my accounts together on the back end, that'll have some perks. But outside of the perks, like, I'm not selling a system. I don't have a class. I don't have a product. I'm not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. This is a documentation of a journey that maybe you guys can glean pieces of and take into your lives, and then it'll make your lives better financially at minimum. Ideologically, hopefully, but definitely get some more money in your pocket, help ease your situation, because most of my, like, a lot of the stress that I'd previously had was money related my entire life growing up. Like, I know money doesn't solve everything, but it definitely buys everything. And a lot of my stress was money related. So now that we're getting to a space to where I've got that breathing room, I'm like, the other stuff is very minuscule in comparison to the money problems. So we talk, and one of the ways that I do that is I'm very malleable and very coachable when it comes to things that I don't know. And I like learning strategies, but a lot of these content creators, especially in the guru space, especially in these financial spaces, they're already at the mountaintop talking down to you about what you should do in your specific situation. And B, they're not going through it. They've already gone through it. So now you're dealing with dated material. So what I like to do is I test everything. Also, you deal with a lot of religious beliefs. It's not math-based beliefs. It's a religion. And what I say about religion, and the reason I say religion, is it becomes no longer facts-based. And math, we're dealing with money. Money is numbers. Math is finite. Math is not arguable. Nope, math doesn't care how you feel. They don't care whether you feel like your strategy or your system that you worked out is the best, because you can just do the math. You can take two accounts, put the money in those accounts, do whatever your secret sauce strategy is, and then and test it after the fact and see where both those accounts go and where you end up. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Can this survive a life event? Can you do this during XYZ? Your head gasket blows and you need $5,000. Can you still make this work? Is it still going to be effective? Is your debt elimination tactic going to still be effective if you got to pause it for a month to handle some business while keeping the income in? What's your focus here? Will this survive? Will this weather the storms? Because everything sounds good on paper. Mike Tyson said it best. Everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face. And a lot of people are not capable of taking financial punches to the face. Now, me personally, I am going through it right now. I feel like I'm tried and true. I've been punched in the face 3 times since April. And we're testing these strategies through that. We're still keeping the content evergreen through that. That was literally the only thing I could do for a little bit, was record. And it was recording in pain. And then I think we did have to skip a few recordings because I was messed up and on pain meds. So but I've gotten my licks in regards to getting punched in the face and working through this stuff. And we're going to go back and we're going to break down what I did a lot of this stuff. That's going to be part of this as well. But I mean, most of it's with the weekly updates is what I'm doing. I've been updating through the process. So there's that too, but it's you have to test things and you have to be willing to reflect on the efficacy and figure out if it works, because some people with the life situation, and I'm going to say specifically, my life situation, I don't have many of the self-inflicted wounds a lot of people have. I do not have kids. I am in a position where I can house hack, so I don't have the expenses that most of you have, because I've circumvented that, because, swallow your pride, do what you got to do to get where you want to go. And honestly, I don't think it's that bad, because I don't see my roommates ever. So not ever, it's just not often. So I'm not really that inconvenienced. And it allows me to invest more money than most of you. So, and I'd rather do that and just have stuff paid for than, be be out here saying that I spent all my money to have a place that now I got to go into debt to just go outside. So there's different situations. So some of these strategies, even though they are less effective, can still be used situationally based. And it's like, okay, well, this is less effective, but like you don't have the ability to jump full bore in and take all the risk. But at least you know how these tools work. And I will refer to all of these things as tools all the time because that's what they are. And the way that I look at your financial life is you are building a house. You don't build a house with just screwdrivers. You can't build a house. I mean, you probably could, but it wouldn't be a house you want to live in if you just use screwdrivers. Like you got to use nail guns, you got to use drills, you got to use pipe cutters, pipe fitters. Like there's a bazillion tools that go into making a house. And these people want you to believe that only one financial tool or one strategy is what you've got to use to have a good financial foundation. And then the people who are exalted as the gurus in this are not giving receipts. They're really not. I'm going to say it again. They're not giving receipts. They're going, I'm telling you what to do. And it's like on the back end, they're doing things that they're literally telling you that you should stay away from. And it's like, okay, so they know how to use the tool. They're talking to you like you're stupid, so you don't know how to use the tool. Or it's like, you got to just do this one thing and that's it. It's not it. You got to have tools. When I'm carrying debt and I'm trying to get rid of debt and I got more debt than I want, there's a different tool set. There's a different mindset. There's a different mentality that goes into eliminating that debt. And for me, it gets really gamified because I'm like, okay, so like we still got to keep some money going into this income machine though, because like we still building that up. But we're eliminating this debt. We got this large chunk of debt over here. We got to eliminate that. We got to knock that out. Okay, so like let's start cracking. Like let's go. Let's like okay, we're kicking the velocity banking back up. We're jumping knee deep back into that because this has gotten too much. And then it's like, oh, okay, well, after we clear the debt, is this still a tool that we can keep in to accelerate some other stuff? Those are the types of conversations. And it's like, oh, well, like maybe we don't want to do that, but we want to do this. Or maybe we want to do, okay, we're keeping the in-home banking going because we're moving this debt over and I'd rather pay myself that interest than pay these high credit card interest rates. Oh, okay, so we're going to move it into the in-home banking pile and then pay that back and load it up and do it in chunks. Okay, that's another tool. Okay, well, is there a way that we can merge these two tools together? Hybridize them after this debt's done. Oh, okay. Oh, we got the Cash App play. We got this little bit of money over here that we can do a chunk of money with, and like we can do this at this low interest rate. Oh, okay. Like, let's look at that. Is there something we can do with that? Like, we got a lot of tools at our disposal over here because we're not religiously bound to one specific ideology. Our ideology over here, and I want to welcome those of you who are watching to the Wolf Pack, because that's what we call ourselves over here, is we are trying to win by any means necessary. So with that said, it's like all tools are on the board based on the efficiency and the situation that we're in. It's like use the right tool for the job. Like, can you screw a house together? Yeah, but nail gun's way more effective. That's what they use to frame a house. Could you use a screwdriver? Yes. Is it as effective? Probably not. So I just wanted to do an intro video. I want to do a quick intro video to let you guys know what we were in, what we were about, kind of my background, what's going on over here on this channel. This will be the one that's like pinned as like the intro video. I want to thank you guys for tapping in. Again, I invite you to like the video. I invite you to share this video to let people know that this channel exists. If you guys could get me out into the ether a little bit for this over here, we're just talking about money. It's just bag talk every week. Guaranteed on Thursdays, but I'm going to definitely have some other stuff that's financial related. I might do some reactions. We'll see what's what. Like, it's going to be interesting. Cause like I ingest a lot of financial content as well. Cause like I'm always learning too. I'm always looking for other things that I could implement into my strategy to make my financial life the best and most efficient it could possibly be. So we'll probably have some reactions, because I do find some stuff where I'm just like, really? Like, that's wild. Like, we're gonna talk about that. And obviously, I will have the email. It's going to be on the video in the description. We're going to start dropping that a lot. If you guys have questions, comments, and stuff, you can shoot it to the email. I will answer those live on stream or on videos. And yeah, I just want to welcome you guys over to Future Financial Strategies. Thanks for tapping in with me. It's your boy Reckless Ray De Niro. And until next time, thank you for checking out this introductory video. Hope you liked it. Touch base with me down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. And we are out. Peace.
Money on my mind. Yeah. Focus, got no time for games. Nah. I don't play, man, I'm all about that financial literacy. Investing in my future, building generational wealth. Dollar bills, they be calling my name, but I ain't chasing fame, I'm chasing change. Learn the game, now I'm playing it smart. Putting my money to work, it's an art. I'm stacking paper, building my own empire. No more living check to check, I'm getting higher. Investing in stocks, real estate, and more. Gotta secure the bag, that's what I came for.